In the aftermath of World War I, Germany was left humiliated and economically devastated. In this context, Adolf Hitler rose to power, promising to restore Germany's former glory. By the mid-1930s, he had taken over Austria and Czechoslovakia, defying the Treaty of Versailles that ended World War I. In September 1938, British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain traveled to Munich to meet with Hitler. There, he agreed to give Germany the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with a large German-speaking population, in exchange for Hitler's promise not to invade any further territories. Despite the Munich Agreement, Hitler continued his aggressive expansionism. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, triggering the start of World War II. Britain and France, who had guaranteed Poland's security, declared war on Germany. The Polish were quickly overwhelmed by the German military, and Britain and France, who had pledged to support Poland, declared war on Germany. But the war was not limited to just these countries. It quickly spread throughout Europe and beyond. The major players in the war were the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, and the Allied powers, primarily Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States. These two sides were locked in a deadly struggle for control of the world. Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, had been aggressively expanding its territory for years, violating the terms of the Treaty of Versailles that had ended World War I. Hitler believed in the concept of Lebensraum, or living space, and wanted to create an empire that stretched across Europe. The war quickly spread, as Germany launched invasions of Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. Italy, under the leadership of Benito Mussolini, joined the war on the side of Germany, while the Soviet Union remained neutral. The turning point of the war came in 1942, when the Allies launched a counteroffensive against the Axis powers. The Allies had been pushed back by the Axis powers in the early years of the war, but with the help of the United States, they were able to turn the tide of a war. In North Africa, the Allies under General Dwight D. Eisenhower defeated the German Afrika Korps in a series of battles, which ended in the capture of thousands of German soldiers. In the Soviet Union, the Red Army launched a counteroffensive against the Germans, which eventually led to the Battle of Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad was one of the bloodiest battles in human history, with over 1 million casualties. The Soviet victory at Stalingrad was a turning point in the war, as it marked the first major defeat for the German army and gave the Allies hope that they could eventually defeat the Axis powers. As the war dragged on, it became increasingly clear that the Axis powers were unable to withstand the might of the Allied forces. Despite fierce resistance, they were slowly but surely pushed back on all fronts. In 1945, the Allies launched a massive final offensive against Germany. The Soviet Union launched a massive assault on Berlin, while the Western Allies launched an invasion of Germany from the west. The German army, already weakened and demoralized, was unable to stop the advance. On May 7, 1945, Germany signed an unconditional surrender, bringing an end to the war in Europe. The war in the Pacific continued for several more months, but it too would soon come to an end. The cost of the war was staggering. Millions of lives had been lost, entire cities had been destroyed, and the world was left reeling in the aftermath. But the war had also brought about great change. It had shattered the old order and laid the foundations for a new world order. The war had also brought about great advancements in technology, medicine, and other fields. The lessons learned during the war would shape the course of human history for decades to come. As the world celebrated the end of the war, it was clear that a new era had begun. An era of hope, of progress, and of peace.